YouTube stream. And we'll start going into some actual... Oh, the keyboard wants to work. Jamo balls are wide there. And it's the Revo cars who have begun leading the way with blocky and curving up the top. These boys will be looking for a strong round after what was a missed opportunity at Le Mans. Definitely had potential. Just kind of slipped out from underneath them. Blocky setting an 18.7 through that first sector mark. We'll see how these boys do. Lane's pulling off. BK's got a penalty. Prezzo will probably be the first to watch here. And it's not showing his time there. So I don't really have a great read on how he is going. And just make sure I can share this around because I jumped in late. Why is the Discord so hard to navigate? Project. And we're coming along here, about to finish the first of our laps, and it is Curving Texas leading the way first with a 7.8. Fantastic lap there from Curving. That is incredibly quick to have a 7.8 in his first lap. And it looks like Blocky and Curving have their stuff sorted out here. So they're going to be running some clever straps there. JM Wag's going to a 9.9, and so far the only three on track to have sudden lap. Dynamite beginning his lap here on the soft compound of tyre. And everyone just barring up. Only 5 minutes remaining now in qualifying, so these guys don't have a huge amount of time to get stuff done. Which is why we often see the best of the best filter up to the top. And speaking of so, our reigning champion Ridwan, currently in 9th position, just come out for an outlap. He may have been starting on the medium tyre. We will see at the start of this one. And Ridwan will be looking for a strong round after winning Le Mans, actually. Very strong round, and he's pulling it off and letting a couple of people by, wasting a bit of time in this qualifying session, but not entirely crucial. These two are almost resembling a bit of battling, and it's not exactly gaining them time currently, as Curving and Blocky, neither of them purple on Curving's time. With Dynamite following. I think Dynamite will be out next on a very competitive lap that we'll have to keep an eye on. And we know just how quick Dynamite can be. And coming right now into the final complex, this is a very, very tough section of the track for the Jaguar. Not exactly the most nimble car in the field. Nor so the Supra ahead of it, piloted by Wagsy. And if these guys are planning on going on one final run at the end, it'll be now they will choose to wheel in. It looks like Wagsy is going to take that opportunity. Dynamite will continue on his lap on for maybe a low 8. And Dynamite actually stretched that out to a low 9 flat. As we see now, a bunch of guys about to begin their laps. Orphan Drop goes to an 8.2. Lane beginning his lap, Jamo coming across for his lap here, and Banana as well, 9.1 and 9.3 respectively from those boys. Tim as well on his lap goes for a 8.5, it's the best of the Banana Cake Pie Racing Division cars so far. 4th position for Tim Ann. And we'll just go back and see if we can catch anyone else coming through. That was KD coming through the shot there, just through turn 1. And another car crossing the start line now, and that would be Ridwan actually back there. His typical approach is just to find a bit of space on his own and settle up. He knows he can as he runs it a little bit wide through turn 1. Now that's a less than ideal start for Ridwan, and he will no doubt have lost a little bit of time going through this first sector. We'll just keep an eye on how Ridwan's going to go with this one. We know he is one of the quickest on the grid here, and he has pole position set in his sights, but he's not purple here, so that toe that Curving got from Blocky Rex really coming into effect here. Ridwan not able to make the mark he needs to in the first sector. Chucking it through that S section. That's a great place to watch the cars. Ridwan actually a little bit narrow coming onto the bridge here. Keeps it well tucked in. And we'll have a look now up to the top. So Blocky and Curving on outlaps. Orphan Drop, who seems to have pulled off. Tim not able to find a slipstream buddy at the moment, so Wags is a little bit further up the road, not able to help him. Dynamite as well, all alone. Not a lot of tow to help him out, but he's a little bit further up the field. See how he's going in the middle of this sector mark here. It could be a good lap shaping up for Dynamite here. Currently P5 for Team Max Speed, and he's 7/10 down is Dynamite. As we'll look here at Banana Cake Pie and Jamo, very close on track of the two Porsche 911 RSRs. And these guys will be, I feel like, a force to be reckoned with this round. So that's Banana Cake Pie now 4/10 up on his previous best time, so on for a mid to high 8 with the current pace. He runs a little wide there. Just manages to correct the course. Throws into the final corner. That's a little bit wide as well from BCP, so it's come a little bit undone here. Stone Tail Perezzo there goes to an 8 flat. Kane with a 9.6. Lane with an 8.1. BK with 14.2. And Banana Cake Pie an 8.8. Jamo with an 8.3 behind, so great lap there. Tim with an 8 flat. And that is the first time that really rivals what Curving can do. And still a 10th and a half down is Tim. So that's a great lap actually from Tim Ant with very little tow to set an 8 flat. And Tim Ant once again, there's Ridwan 7.5. So he has found a lot of time there in the final few sectors as Ridwan. And Ridwan is currently in the provisional pole position spot. There we go, FP Autosport will be currently cheering. There is one more lap now for the entire field as they come through. Ridwan 3/10 clear of the field. And will it stay? So Curving this time giving tow to Blocky. We'll see what their formation's like coming onto the back straight. Of course, a place where you can gain a lot and lose a lot if there isn't perfect harmony between the teammates. And Curving is pressing the limits there and just brushes up against the wall. Didn't seem like he actually lost that much time. We'll see him across the sector mark and he's lost nearly a 10th and a half. So maybe Blocky here, who Curving will choose to let through. And Blocky actually showing some telltale signs of lag there. And will choose to stay in behind his teammate Curving. Both of these guys are very high up in the driver's standings right now. And are threats to any other high-ranked car. I think this will be a very important round for the Drivers' Championship. Blocky now just purple on Ridwan's time. So this tow that Curving's giving him has been absolutely crucial so far. And Blocky is flying. Curving setting a great lap to keep him in it right now. And Blocky will come around. This is a great team move here from the Revo boys. And Curving will just come across here, led by Curving Texas. It'll be Blocky though, who just misses out on pole. It's a 7-7 from Blocky. A fantastic team move there to secure second and third so far. That's engine damaged for the Stone Tower. Tim Ant is also purple. He's finding a lot. Nearly cutting the corner there, and the inside Wags in the wall at the final corner. And Tim, what can he do on his final lap in the Porsche 911? What does he have? It's a 7-8 from Tim to split the Revo boys. We'll go back further in the field. Orphan Drops finished his lap. Jamo not going to improve. And who have we got? KD now coming through. KD with engine damage. So a disappointing lap for KD. Dynamite not going to improve either, and I feel like that could be the end of our qualifying session. Bodhod here. Bodhod towards the back again, not having the quality you would hope for. Can he vault himself up? P7 for the Team Max Speed driver. Now with a couple more cars coming around, Ridwan has completed his lap. We've got Stone Towel in the pits, choosing not to complete his lap. And it will be KD who also comes into the pits. Dynamite has completed his lap, and that is all cars now locked in. So congratulations to Ridwan, who will grab a much-deserved pole position here at St. Croix B. And I think the talking point there is the fantastic efforts of Tim Ant alone to somehow park that Porsche in P3. There he is, the team BCPRD driver. As well as the Revo team play there from Curving and Blocky to tow themselves around. And that was very clever stuff there from the RCF GT3 drivers. But we go on now into the race, a 17 lap battle to the death, I guess it could be said, around St. Croix B. It is a 5 lap tyre minimum for these guys, so they will be running at least a minimum of 5 laps on each tyre, the soft and the medium, with 3 times tyre wear and 3 times fuel wear. And all of these cars are capable of pulling that off. How about we pull up the race info? Here we go, Ridwan on pole position. Can he get a good start in that Supra? Blocky Rex to the side of him. Probably the favourite to take the lead to turn run, and they are off. Blocky Rex with a lot of wheel spin there. Didn't get the jump he needed to. T-Man with a great jump in behind Ridwan. Ridwan making the most of that Supra. Lane Everingham down the inside. Can he make this? 3 spots in one. Lane's taken the lead out of nowhere. Botthard's bowling a wide out there. Blocky's seen the grass there, manages to gather it up, loses a bunch of spots, but Lane Everingham from the second row of the grid has taken the lead. Ridwan trying desperately to get something done. Can he fire it up the inside? No, he's curving, chucks it down the inside of Tim-Man, having that straight line speed advantage over the Porsche. Tim shuffled out wide, just manages to keep it on, and that's KD there going wide in the background. And does he manage to keep that out of the wall, I wonder? He has, so no damage there for KD. Make sure we can try and get a replay there, but Lane trying to skip away on the soft component of tyre. Ridwan following him also on the softs, and Bodhod loving that alternate strategy. We'll see if everyone can survive that wall at the end of the bridge, and it looks like they all have. So Bodhod, the first of the runners on the medium tyre, and these guys will need to clear him as quickly as possible. Curving being the first of those guys. The number 9 Reaver driver who will need to make inroads on the Jag ASAP if he wants to try and catch up to Ridwan and Lane. Back to Prezzo, who had a eventful qualifying session, copying engine damage late in the stint, and he is also on the medium tyres, so a bold strategy play from Prezzo, but it will work very well if he can manage to keep it in. Tim still holding his own, starting on the mediums as well as Tim in 6th position. Could have been up a lot higher had he not been shuffled wide up at turn 3. These guys coming into the braking zone. Is Blocky going to dive on him? He should know at this stage that he's on mediums. And Tim just going slightly defensive there. And we saw someone throwing a move there in the background. That might have been Dynamite just trying to get something done on Kane. And not able to as of yet. And Dynamite, who has not had the best of races so far. Not the best of nights, to be honest. We expect him to be a little bit higher up in qualifying. And I'm sure he will be expecting a very strong race from himself. I guess the same can be said for all of the Kennedy Motorsport boys here. Kane, Orphan Drop, and BK, the team owner, who are parked out in 10th, 11th, and 12th as Dynamite there. A pretty firm brush to the wall. And that is not something he wants to be making a habit of. Of course, Dynamite running the medium tyre, that will help his strategy ever so slightly, as actually Ridwan has managed to retake the lead at the front there. From Lane, my apologies, we have completely missed that. We will go back now and just see what we can see on that first lap, looking at KD. So Kane threw a massive bomb there, and it looked like he just caught KD and managed to have him off. So well done for KD for actually managing to avoid all of that stuff as he comes through the same area now where the incident happened. And he's just a little bit far off the train right now on that soft tyre, so he will be able to make some inroads. KD in a little bit out of his depth as he's driving a brand new car to him and trying to compete with Summer Project One's best. They're going too wide here on the bridge, if I could hit the right button. And it's Kane, Orphan Drop, and Dynamite now making some moves. So Dynamite moves up into position 12 there, ahead of Orphan Drop, who seems to have lost a couple of spots actually to this pack. And Kane next on the chopping block for the Jaguar. As Kane goes in very deep there, so running a different line to Dynamite. And seems to be working too. A fantastic run coming out of that bowl. And Orphan Drop has got a run there. He's sitting in behind. Dynamite now has to concede the position. And maybe a clever little team play there from Kennedy Motorsport. Back up to the top now with Ridwan. Half a second clear of Lane Everingham and running it very wide, losing a bunch of time there. And inviting Lane back in. So it looks like Lane's actually got the better line coming through there. As we'll jump on the bonnet cam, just see exactly how Lane's doing it, and we cannot use rear view still without the game absolutely shitting itself, really. And Ridwan brushing the wall there, and he's copped damage! Ridwan has damage! Huge news there, Ridwan into the wall, the final corner in lap 2, and he has damaged the reigning champion. Another mistake, and it has let Lane Everingham through to the lead. That is something that FP Autosport will be ruining. We'll just see, just caught the end of that there, and Ridwan copping left front and front aero damage. And that is, oh, and he's copped a penalty as well. So Ridwan, this has gone from bad to worse, and this is a terrible time to be on the quicker soft tyre. So this could be a matter of damage limitation here for Ridwan, who has already had a less than ideal start to his championship. And I get the feeling here this is just going to open up more and more between Lane and Ridwan. As we'll check in behind here, Curving has managed to navigate around the Jaguar. Oh, Bodhod very wide there. That was so close to hitting the wall. And now Blocky Rex with an opportunity, and it looks like Blocky might go for the dive here. And he's just going to back it off there. So Blocky choosing to save a bit of fuel, and he's got Tim Ant a second up behind Bodhod there. Very wide, and Blocky's going to take the opportunity just to go around his outside, and Bodhod lets that one go. So clever racing from both these boys here. Blocky choosing to conserve some fuel when he had the chance to pass, and Bodhod backing out of it when he knows he's on the mediums. So some very clever racing happening at the front, and that is the reason these boys are at the front. So at the moment we see Team Max Speed in the lead over Ridwan, as Bodhod's actually coming back here on the mediums and causing a real pain for Blocky, who really should be disappearing up the road, hopefully leading, or following I should say, a Revo 3-4 with Curving Texas. And that would be very beneficial to their team's championship after Max Speed had a dominant performance in Le Mans and took the team's championship lead. And these guys are not really separating at the moment. There is not a huge amount of gap following the pack. There you have it. So almost just a nice little even line between everyone there. Very nice to look at. Blocky throws into turn one, and he's just managed to find a little bit of time over Curving here. We'll just see. So Curving saving a little bit more fuel than Blocky, and that is probably going to be very helpful come the pit stop phase of this race. But also carrying roughly the same speed, so Curving may be the perfect candidate just to lead Blocky towards Ridwan here. Ridwan who will be ailing a little bit as Lane there. What's Lane done? So Lane there giving up the lead once again to Ridwan, who I remind you has front left and front area damage. As these guys run it very close to the wall, we will have a look there at what happened. As Lane just seems to run wide. Oh, ran into the grass there. Just lost enough speed that Ridwan was able to jump down the inside. And that'd be move done from Lane, and Ridwan backed out of it. So clever stuff from Ridwan there. Just choosing not to get involved in a stupid fight now. And Lane has actually retaken that lead now. So with the added straight line advantage, Lane Everingham back in the lead in the number 10 Jaguar F-Type. As we go back now to Bodhod, who has lost a bunch of time here to Blocky and Curving ahead. So that pressure he was adding onto Blocky all dissipated now, and suddenly it's Tim Ant who is just outside the toe of this big fat Jaguar. Tim Ant as well, who was on the medium, so showing great pace in the early stages of this race. Only lap 4 at the moment, so a lot of this race yet to run. And it's actually the GTRs I just saw in the background starting to hound the back of these Porsches. And Prezzo there very wide. Prezzo, who's lost a couple of spots considering he qualified in P5 or 6, I believe. No, it hasn't been the strongest of starts. And Prezzo actually has damage as well. So Prezzo with identical levels of damage to team leader Ridwan, who is only the team leader positional-wise. Stone Tail, of course. Prezzo is the team captain, and that was Banana Cake Pie going defensive to BK. But I think, yep, he's going to chuck that one in real deep. And BK with Adam run, and BK not able to find a way past the Porsche 911 at the moment. With that added straight line though, you'll think it's only a formality that he'll find a way past eventually. As we see into turn 3, Bodhod running wide up ahead there, so Tim Ant smelling blood in the water here, and he will definitely try something, will Tim. And round the outside here, he's a fair way back. Is he going to get it done? Tim round the outside in the sweeping downhill S's. That's a fantastic move there from Tim Ant. That is fully committed. That is fantastic driving. We'll just see here. So Bodhod makes the mistake. Tim Ant lining him up, added straight line speed all the way around the outside. Tim Ant goes and fully committed on the throttle. Just a slight ease, a bit of brake to steady the car, and very, very smart driving from both of these guys. That is a fantastic move in the heat of battle. P5 now for Tim Ant, but he has other problems with Bodhod, a monster in a straight line, and will no doubt make life hard for Tim come the end of this straight. Tim running the defensive line and everyone behind him following suit. Bodhod, Banana Kick by BK, and even Stone Towel back in P9, all following Tim Ant 46, who is ironically car number 22. Tim going defensive now as Bodhod trying the long move. BCP now trying to get involved in this, so this is becoming a bit of a heated battle for P5 now. BCP looking for any advantage he can get over the Jaguar. Not quite an overlap there. And Bodhod, you can he poke a nose. He's looking for a bit of an audacious overtake there. And Bodhod runs a little wide. BCP looking more and more dangerous by the second. And BK all the time is just looking, waiting and watching with the straight line of that GTR. And now Banana with the run. And BK taking the opportunity to early pit stop for the shortest possible stint on the mediums. Interesting, no damage either for BK. And Prezzo pulling the same move there as we'll catch in this battle. And BCP has managed to get the job done. So it looked like that was a simple straight line overtake there for BCP. Would have been a mistake out of the final corner for Bodhod, and BCP able to take advantage of that. And Bodhod not going to fire back just yet. Go back to the front here as Lane has managed to check out by 1.2 seconds at the front. So a comfortable lead now for Lane Everingham, the Team Max Speed team owner, who is just controlling his race now in the Jaguar. And Ridwan, who of course copped damage early on, running low nines, and here come the Revo boys. So Ridwan not able to keep up the pace he was early in the race. And it looks like an 8 would be a very impressive number at the moment, but Ridwan not doing too badly. It feels he touches the wall again, just slightly up on curving, and you've got to assume up on blocky as well. That is correct. So these guys not quite having the strong fuel save that Ridwan does in the Supra. And these are the 4 main soft runners right now. They are the 4 that you'll be watching for the race win towards the end of this one. But don't count out either Tim Ant and Banana Cake Pie, P5 and P6 on the medium tyres. Bodhod as well, just sticking with them. And I think these 3 will be your main protagonists when it comes to the medium alternate strategy runners, as well as BKXI, who we'll just see if we can catch where he's come out. That's P11 for BK. So not at all a bad position to be in. And looking very comfortable now with a full tank of gas and very fresh softs. I think the only issue we have now is he'll wear out those softs at an alarming rate now with a full tank of fuel. And he will be pushing for fastest lap after fastest lap. And by lap 17, those soft Bridgestones are not going to be his friend. So we'll keep an eye on the progress of BK as we come in here. We'll just see there might be a couple of pit stops on the horizon, curving now within 3/10 of Ridwan F1, and that's Bodhod now choosing to jump off the medium tyre from P7. So Bodhod, the first of those main 3 medium runners to pull the trigger, and it'll be BCP and Tim surely next lap who choose to come in. And curving now, just thinking about an overtake, not able to get it done. And he will be looking for any way he can past the FP Autosport champion. And he's just actually, Blocky's lost touch with this too a little bit. So Blocky maybe a dodgy lap last time. So it's a 9-2 last lap from Blocky Rex, who is actually the, oh, damage for Blocky, my mistake. Lump in my throat. So Blocky's copped damage somewhere. There's no way we'd be able to rewind far enough to find that. But it's a 9-2 on lap 6, so somewhere around the track on lap 6, Blocky's managed to cop front and front right damage to his Lexus. So that'll be a waste of time in the pit stop, as well as a waste of lap time. So not ideal for Blocky, who probably has at least another 2 or 3 laps on this stint, and will surely give up probably 5, maybe 6 seconds to this pack up ahead. And with him curving now, with the straight line speed advantage, is going to be able to pass Ridwan. And bit of contact, like that was awkward contact between those two. It looks like curving is just a little slow to react. And this time though, he's going to fire it down the inside. Ridwan not putting up a big fight. And curving now promotes himself up into P2. And behind Lane Everingham, who is still your race leader in the number 10 Jaguar F-Type Group 3. Ridwan will be able to hang on to the back of curve for a little bit longer now with the toe, and this will be beneficial to both of these guys in hopefully catching lane towards the end of the race. And we'll go back and just have a look through our field. Again, it is blocky P4 with damage. We'll see if he actually chooses to pit. He'll know he's losing a lot of time. May choose to go long on mediums and just thinks better of it. So probably a smart call there from Blocky. Not losing a huge amount of time. You can see him just weaving in a straight line. So 9.4s, 9.2s. That's roughly where it's at. Tim Ant now pulling the trigger. Banana not doing the same. So Banana going long on those medium tyres, choosing for a shorter stint on the softs. And he will be one to watch come the end of the race. He won't have those tyre degradation issues on the softs, but he will be struggling with a vastly degrading medium tyre underneath him right now. So Banana will be one to watch. Later on, Dynamite, who hasn't had the best of runs so far in the F-Type for max speed racing, on the medium tyre as well, but nearly 5.5 seconds down on BCP, which would probably be his nearest rival. Other than Jamo, who just seems to be slipping further and further off. Jamo doing 11s, 13s, and 10s at the best. So something not really clicking for Super Croix B for Jamo. And he's got a fair bit of time to find if he wants to be a threat come the sprint race into that Porsche 911. It's KD, still P8, who has now picked up some damage. So KD's gone from doing 9s, maybe a 10 on the off lap, to 18, 12s. Yeah, that's been a troubled run so far for the American, who is normally our commentator. You can just see the damage to that gorgeous RCF as KD chooses to pull over there for BK, Bodhod, and maybe Tim as well. Yeah, Tim will go flying past. So we'll just stop doing that. So that is BK. BK's actually managed to jump Bodhod there. So BK really promoting himself up the field with that undercut. BK, who has long been a fan of jumping absolutely anybody he can with a ludicrous undercut, has managed to promote himself right into talks for a potential podium in that Nissan GTR. And he will use that straight line to a great advantage. I am sure you can see him just holding the gap to Bodhod. And BK, who funnily enough is one of the biggest advocates in saying that the Jaguar is the quickest car in a straight line. And watching the way that GTR comes out of corners, I would like him to eat his words, sir. Eat them now. And seeing behind one of the slowest cars on straight line, but I'm sure one of the quickest on track right now, Tim Ant 46, who is running with fresh soft tyres underneath him. So Tim, who set a 9.3 best lap on the mediums, is now flying towards the leaders and will be a force come the end. He will still have BK and Bodhod to navigate, so that undercut's going to prove a little costly for both the BCP RD drivers, with BCP currently continuing on as well. And that's Jamo and Dynamite pitting from P8, 9, and actually BCP as well. And there he is, car 4 in the pits. As he comes out, you will see where he's going to come out. That horrible chase cam showing us he will be behind Prezzo. And that is where car 4 will end up, with a lot of work to do. Car 5 actually still running the same softs that he pitted on lap 5 for. So running a very short medium stint as Prezzo. And he's still got a long way to go on that set of rubber, and they are not looking particularly pretty right now. So Prezzo will be a sitting duck come the end of the race, I suspect. As Jamo has rejoined in P10. Fresh softs, as well as Dynamite following him, who also is quite finding the pace around St. Croix at the moment on another set of fresh softs, fully fueled up as well. So he will be very quick come the end of this race. Orphan drop on a very warm set of softs, doing the same strategy as Prezzo is. So the Breslin brothers, Breslin twins, I should say, who are clearly on the same wavelength, pitting on lap 5 it should have been. As I believe, I'm not actually sure what that readout's telling me. Orphan drop may have picked up damage earlier in the stint, was not able to catch that. And he's now sitting back in P12 with Kane, his teammate, sitting behind him coming onto the bridge section now. And Kane's sitting low 8s now, so finding a bit of pace now. And you've got to assume Kane's come in as well. I remember all these 3 cars actually were on the medium tyre at the start. So these guys have definitely pit Orphan drop and Kane. And KD has now pitted to clear that damage and put on a fresh set of medium tyres. Wagsy, and that's Ridwan actually. Will cut away from Wagsy just for a second. Ridwan now in the pits with a lot more fuel than Blocky Rex, but both of these guys importantly with damage, as we see the Supra GR racing concept into the pit lane. Yeah, a relatively quick stop from the FP Auto Sport boys. We'll see where he's going to pop out. It's BK coming around the final corner now, so that's the closest competitor. BK pulling off a very, very early undercut, and this will be the rejoin that we're watching for. Ridwan now coming out of the pits. It's going to be very close between these two, and the GTR's top speed's just going to carry him out, and around the outside goes BK. So BK vaulting himself into very much podium contention now, as it's Ridwan on the medium tyre who won't have the outright pace that BK does, and Bodhod actually might be a threat. Bodhod on the soft tyre as we see him now from onboard, and he has a great view of that super up ahead of him. Car 1, the reigning champion Ridwan, who has made a grave mistake, grave error this race in copping damage at the final corner, and he will be ruining his mistakes for some time, as Bodhod will be looking to gain from them. Bodhod with a fair amount of cars behind him as he comes over the bridge. Tim Ant following him, only a second behind him now, 1.1 and a 10th up on his PB as well. So Tim finding a nice bit of time. Blocky Rex also not really, actually that would have been a huge fill for Blocky Rex then. So clearing the same amount of damage that Ridwan did, but losing a lot more time. So that extra 10 or 11 litres that he had to put in compared to Ridwan, costing him dearly the scheme of things, with Stone Tail now all over him, and that'll be Stone Tail on soft tyres as well, as we see him now. And I don't think Stone Tail will be waiting around. There'll be a slight bump and a little bit of lag from Blocky, and this almost looks cynical at this stage, as Stone Tail had to get out of it there. It couldn't quite push, but it's Curving Texas now who comes into the pits. Not a bad save at all from Curving Texas. And we'll have to keep a close eye on the cars coming through. It's still BK who is maybe the cork in the bottle at the moment. Ridwan has found a lot of pace on those fresh mediums, so able to rag a lot out of that Supra. And we'll watch from almost the exact same view as BK now around the final corner, up on top of the bonnet, and we're watching now for that white, black and blue Revo RCF, and there it is up ahead. And I don't think this will be a car that BK is overtaking. Curving Texas rejoins in P2 with an undercut now to Lane. So Lane now with the big question to ask, when is the time to pit? And I'd say it's now. Look at those tyres on the Jag. He would be struggling to steer. That would have the turning circle of a small cruise ship. And the engine light now coming on for Lane Everingham as well, indicating that the fuel is nearly out. It's under 10%, and he will surely be coming in this lap for a bit of a drink. Curving with a 2-second lead over BK. That's comfortable. That is what he needs right now. A little bit of breathing room so he can just settle into those medium tyres. And BK, who I'm sure will do everything he can to hold off the reigning champion of Ridwan, but Ridwan, he is no easy customer when it comes to attacking and defending. He knows every trick in the book, and this will be one I'm sure BK won't want to have to deal with, as Ridwan not really that keen on passing him this early. So backing out of that one at the end of the bridge section, maybe saving a little bit of fuel. Maybe he thinks he's fuel limited coming into these final 6 laps. Maybe he just knows he's got the pace to do it later. Ridwan with a straight line disadvantage, and he touches the wall there on exit. But it is a straight line disadvantage over the GTR in the straight, so maybe just utilising that toe, which is much like what Tim Ant's doing right now on the back of Bodhod. And Tim Ant will try for the move, surely. Nothing to lose here now for Tim Ant on a nice fresh pair of softs as he dives down the inside of Bodhod at the end of the back straight and takes P5 now in the BCPRD car. It's Lane Everingham now who has come into the pit lane, and the Max Speed boys are ready to receive him. So this is the race leader into the pits. Car 10. Let's see how they go to work here. Here we go. We'll watch Curving coming around the final corner. I think this will be very close, but Lane should have him. Curving a lot quicker on this lap with the undercut, but it's not quite going to be enough. So that's going to be about a 2.5 second lead once everything evens out, and Lane Everingham will retake the lead on fresh medium. So that is a nice comfortable lead there as Curving comes through, and it'll be more like 3 seconds, so a little bit more than I expected. And BK's actually been able to reel in Curving as well, so Curving will need to put this head down, try and find some pace. Ridwan's been able to find some really nice pace on that medium set now. An 8 flat for Ridwan. You've got to assume a 7's possible in that Supra, but got to remember with a GTR toe ahead of him too. straight lines will not be an issue. T-Man all alone in P5 now, so Bodhod has dropped off massively. No damage to the car, but the front tyres really started to disagree with his driving style. It's funny, Bodhod has long been a driver who benefits massively from driving an understeery car. He was at home in the Genesis, he was at home in the Dodge Viper, and he would seem to be at home in a car he's returning to, the F-Type Group 3. But it's not quite working out for Bodhod so far in the season. Not quite getting the return he wants in lap time or indeed tyre life, which is, I think, the killer for him at the moment. As we've got a car in the pits towards the back, and that's Kane now hitting. Oh, it's engine damage for Kane. And not how he wanted this race to go. So Kane will slip to the back as Wags. He throws into turn 1 on mediums. And it looks like it'll be a lonely race for these three men at the back. So KD, as long as he can keep it clean, will probably come home with a P13, Wags with 14th, and Blocky, well, not Blocky Rex, my apologies, that's Kane with 15th. As we'll check, Orphan Drop probably also relegated to 12th. And will stay there as he clips the wall there. Lucky to avoid damage, Orphan Drop. And that just looked like a lot of understeerers will go on board, and he's on the throttle way too early there. Just didn't react to it in time. And Jamo, the next car up ahead of him, as we'll go to a better view of the Porsche 911 there. And he's doing 8.8s, whereas Dynamite, who has managed to pass him after the pit stop phase, is currently doing 8.3s. So this may be a battle that Jamo is also going to slip away from. But Dynamite probably unlikely to be able to catch Blocky Rex, who is currently in a battle there with BCP and Stone Tail. So three team owners here going for it into turn 1. And there will be no love lost between these guys. Blocky Rex, who is a wee team owner, a part team owner of Revo Satellite Racing. And someone who is really benefiting from the addition of Reva on the team. And that's BCP there out wide. That was a bit of a shove there from Stone Towel. So just have a look at that again. See if there's anything cynical about this. It was Stone Towel down the inside. And oh, he's just bounced over that curb and made contact. BCP just making contact there. And gathering the car up. But he's slipped down now a second. And that may be, yeah, I think that's Prezzo just redressing that one. And that is good racecraft there from Prezzo, knowing he made a mistake in clipping that and has given the position back to BCP. So really good racing there from these guys. And it shows a great level of respect between the team owners as BCP shows Prezzo the tail. And BCP is watching as the tail of Blocky is disappearing up ahead. Blocky now with no damage is able to put the foot down, but with nowhere really to go. I don't think he's really got it in him to catch Bodhod, who is on the soft tyre at the moment, albeit a currently broken soft tyre, as Curving's actually dropped out of this one. So Curving there drops a position to red one. Just noticed he disappeared off the second position on the leaderboard. And Lane coming back towards these guys as well. So BK now 1.2 seconds off the back of Lane, and BK's found a 7.8 and a 7.9 out of nowhere. So less than 300ths off the fastest lap is BKXI. The league admin, the league leader, the league captain, whatever you want to call him, the team owner of Kennedy Motorsport, is finding a lot of pace out of nowhere. And with 4 laps to go, it is looking ever so likely now that there's a battle here between the GTR and the F-Type. And Lane, who is sitting in mid-10s at the moment, so not a lot of pace being found in that F-Type for Lane. The medium tyre not giving him a lot, and BK is hounding him. Less than 4/10 now between these guys, and these two are going to go hammer and tongs. Lane, who has controlled this one from the start. It was a brilliant start from Lane, and BK here is trying to go round the outside. Is he going to make this stick? BK, Lane gives him no room at all, and BK's going to do it round the outside. The move that we saw Tim pull off. Brilliant move there from BK, who will take the lead of the St. Croix B feature race. And Lane, what is he going to do to make this up? BK's finding himself in a position he has not regularly found himself in, the lead. You have spoken far too soon. Far too soon, Risky. As BK actually, that's a huge mistake running a wide there. And it looks like Lane may have made the same mistake. And Ridwan catching him. This is going to be a 4-car battle before we know it. But BK may have just been able to clear him. It's 9/10 now. And getting the exit you need, BK is going to run this back straight untouched as Ridwan now pulling up to the back of him and giving him the bump. And there we go, that's key to watch this. So Ridwan does not want BK to get away. Ridwan wants to make sure that all of these guys can battle at the end. And I have spoken much too soon. Much like Risky, as Ridwan's going to fire down the inside of lane, Curving's going to try and follow him. And both of these guys have now passed the man who made a rocket of a start. And it's going from bad to worse. Timiant now as well, pulling onto the back of Lane. And Lane can find himself going from first to fifth within the space of a lap. And that is not what he wanted to see now. So Ridwan, who will surely have the pace towards the end of this stint to reel in BK. But what is BK going to do? He is leading a race for one of the first times in his Project 1 league career. And it's all looking so good now for the Kennedy Motorsport driver. 1.1 seconds clear of Ridwan. These guys are going to battle Lane there. Don't know if he was just covering off Tim, but Tim's going to find it very difficult to pass around the outside there. And choosing not to go for it is Tim. As he's going to sit it behind. Gets a great run there using that fresher soft compound and what Lane has in the car. And not able to get the overlap. That Porsche, not a lot of straight line speed, but a fair amount of braking performance. Choosing not to use that either. As he's pulling up behind, it is 2.3 seconds between your top five. And Tim going for that trademark move. Is he going to do the same thing BK did to him? Tim finding the outside line. Can he do it? Sweeps around the outside. Brilliant move from Tim. This is becoming way too easy for these guys. As Tim, a fantastic move there around the outside of the S's. As he moves up into fourth. And that is, there you go, that is 4 spots lost for Lane within the space of a lap. And it's going from bad to worse for him. As these guys now pulling onto the back of BK. It's only 8 tenths less than between BK and Ridwan. And what do you do when you've got a man with the caliber of Ridwan behind you? I suppose you just drive on, don't you? There's not a whole lot you can do. That Supra is a rocket ship in a straight line. And I guess BK has the best tools available to try and defend it. And I guess Curving just waits and watches for now. He will attempt to do anything he can, but without that straight line, he is fighting a losing battle always. He can just go for a move with a good run out of the key corners. But Curving not really going to be able to have an outright challenge based on pace, I would suspect. There you go. So Captain Risky calling it now. Curving Texas for the win. We'll have a check of his tyre life actually. So very, very similar there to Ridwan with a little bit more fuel, so he can push come the end of the race. And BK, look at that tyre life. Ridwan there, very wide. So that's not what... And Ridwan pick up a penalty. That's Curving now, who's come through to P2. So Ridwan, that was much wider than I thought he'd actually went. And Curving picking up the position before the final corner into P2. So Risky making a good call for once in his life there. And Curving moving into P2. Ridwan's not going to let that one go easily. He thinks he's got the pace. He probably knows he's got the pace over Curving. But Tim is coming hot and fast as well into turn 1 as he misses that apex by a couple of postcodes. Does the BCPRD driver and Lane as well. You got to feel for Lane Everingham right now in 5th position, and he was leading this one from the start. From the start was Lane. A bit of a scrap with Ridwan in the early laps before he picked up damage. And it's just slipping away from him now. He's watching these guys disappear, and these guys are going to be really careful not to battle too much. Curving and Ridwan trying to go side by side. Tim as well out of nowhere. Is he going to go around the outside again? No, just thinks better of it. Tim, who is pulling off these moves way too frequently for my liking. Oh, I wish I did not lose him from my team this season. Is driving a stunner of a race so far in that 911 RSR. And importantly as well, all 5 manufacturers are currently in the top 5. It is Nissan, Lexus, Toyota, Porsche, Jaguar in the top 5. So a crazy stat there, and I'm not sure when the last time that actually happened was. Yeah, absolutely right. Definitely needed the tow from, was it Ridwan towing in past BK? And that was Ridwan towing in past BK. I'm actually completely lost who we're talking about there, whether it be Curving or Lane. But these two are battling way too hard for BK to be worried right now, but BK did lose actually 3 cents per second out of nowhere there. Those tyres looking very sore and sorry, dropping now into the low 9s, and this one could be a mid to high 9 if he is not careful. Texas, that's alright. No, I don't think there's any damage for Ridwan. He copped damage earlier in the race. It was a lap 2 mistake on the final corner. No contact made between him and Lane, but Ridwan cracking under the pressure of the max speed team boss and finding himself in P3 as a result. And he's just lost touch with Curving as well. So Curving skipped off to 9 tenths ahead as Tim carrying a lot more speed into that final corner, finding different lines to all of these guys and finding his own way to get pace out of that 911 RSR. And pulling out of the slipstream is Tim as well. Is he going to be able to send a move? And he's a little bit far back for that. And he'll think better of it. So Curving now pulling up to the back of BK. There is one lap to go for BKXI. A man who has been so unfortunate in his league career, man who has been one of the hardest working people on the grid, is less than 2 minutes away from maybe grabbing his first ever feature win. But this man, Curving Texas, will be trying everything in his power to take it off him. And you got to wonder, what are the guys behind going to do? Are they going to help? Are they going to push Curving towards BK to make this a 4, maybe 5 car battle? If this all kicks off, there is not a lot of racing left to go here. Don't take your eyes off the screen. BK 9 tenths ahead now, and Curving just can't get in that slipstream. He's not quite there. Throwing it now, and BK with a lot less tyre life makes a mistake there, runs it very wide, clips the wall, and that is a crucial bit. But I think Curving may have done the same thing. Loses nearly 2 tenths there to the GTR driver. Curving really dependent on this exit here, and it's a good exit there for Curving, but not quite good enough to get inside the toe. So Curving's going to need a fair amount of help from Ridwan here if he wants to get P2, but Ridwan's got his own agenda. Ridwan wants to be P2 here, and Curving just taking the racing line. That was a fair bump from Ridwan there, so he might actually just choose to help Curving here. Get him towards BK. We can see Tim's dropped off a second, and Ridwan going real deep. It's closed up here. BK doesn't have the grip in this final sector. What is going to happen? It's half a second now from BK to Curving. This is the final sector. 15 seconds remaining in this race. Curving all over the back of him. He's going to pick up the toe here coming down to the final quarter. Curving runs wide. Curving trying to curry more speed than he could. And BK's got that breathing room. Ridwan going for the move as well. Ridwan down inside this contact. These two make contact. Ridwan cuts the corner. And all of them are in the wall there. Not sure if there's any damage, and it doesn't look like, but it's BK who's going to pick up the win. BK with his first ever feature win. Curving Texas just holds on for P2. Ridwan with a valiant effort for P3 with early damage. Tim, stunning drive for P4 in the Porsche, and Lane completes a completely different manufactured top 5. So all 5 teams in the top 5 positions. That is a great result for Project 1 in general, with Blocky Rex coming home the second of the Revo cars in P6, and BCP, the team owner for BCPRD, in 7th. Bodhot in 8th, an unlucky race for him. Dynamite able to pick up a fair few positions for P9. Prezzo, the FB Autosport team owner, in P10, an eventful race with a lot of front tyre wear for him. Jammo coming home in P11 was very quiet all race for Jammo. Orphandrop, who has had a less than ideal run as he has picked up a penalty on the final lap there, as Orphandrop will be starting in P4 coming this sprint race, so he'll be one to watch out for. And here's the first of our reserve, the only of our reserves tonight, KD, who has stepped into the Revo car, and he's actually picked up damage on his medium stint as well. And I cannot speak at the moment. But KD coming home in P13, the number 48, the American, the only international other than the Kiwis on our grid, who brings home some important points. And it's actually Wagsy and Kane battling on the final lap. I didn't realise these guys were that close. And that penalty may come back to Rue Wags, and he's not going to be able to get it over Kane. So Kane, that may have been a final lap overtake, actually. I'll just look at the time, 10.3. Yep, so that was a final lap overtake for Kane. So a crucial couple of points for Kennedy Motorsport over FP Autosport. But it was BKXI with his first ever feature race win. Congratulations to the P1 Project 1 eSports League owner, who grabs his first ever win, the Kennedy Motorsport team owner. And I think a massive congratulations is in order for BK. Oh, and Tim there actually suffering a mechanical, well, we'll call it a mechanical glitch. That's a game glitch, is really the blunt way to put it. That sucks, Tim. Yeah, that's... that could have been a much better result for you. That's rough, mate. That could have been a podium. Yeah, especially in the Porsche. That's very impressive drive there. And we'll just go through and hit a massive congratulations to BK, because that is huge for him. Save the replay as well. And I think now is as good a time as ever to just shoot off and grab a drink. And Curving actually saying in the team chat as well, Curving is very, very of the idea he could have won that race. We will have a look at the results once more. It was BK who took the checkered flag first, followed by Curving 1.2 behind. And yeah, Curving actually saying the Rid one probably cost him that win. Not sure exactly what part of the race he's talking about. It may have been in the closing stages. But these guys have run a very convincing race. Not pro clubs now, Aiden. We have one more sprint race to go, which I will be, of course, commentating on. And I've just got to send a message to KD actually and tell him to do a different strategy. I'll just get him to start on the soft tyre for a 13 lap race. And I think I've got that one sorted out. I think now is as good a time as ever to have a quick little break and grab a drink. That was another ridiculously action-packed one towards the end, much like Alsace, and I need a drink. It's a pity I don't have a Smirnoff this week. Oh, it seems like we've come back just in time, BK, giving the go to banana cake pie, and what timing that is actually. And here we go. We'll jump into the spectate. And we've definitely missed the start there, so that is my bad. And we're going to have to watch the start from... Oh, there we go. So we actually have made the start. Focusing on BCP. And it's Wagsy who will start the race from pole position. It's Kane sharing the front row with him. And these guys... Kane's blows on the final lap. It was Kane overtaking Wags. How will it go at turn one? Lights out, away we go here. Lots of wheel spin for the whole grid. Traction control, of course, disabled, and it's a GTR from behind there. That'll be Orphan Drop getting a great start. Dynamite as well getting a great jump off the line. Jamo making the most of that slow starting 911. 3 wide going into turn 1. One of the Revo cars getting punched out wide. That was KD. Managed to make it work up into P3 there. And they're 4 wide here in the midfield behind Perezzo there. Those guys are playing 4 keeps. Hireling now up into here. We'll have a look on board from way back, and it's chaos back in the grid from onboard Ridwan, the race winner for the feature race BK, and that's a BCPRD car being shuffled out wide there. We'll go a little bit further forward onto the onboard of Lane as these guys throw it into the S's, and it looks like Ridwan around the outside of Lane, so Lane not committing himself to that corner quite as much as he probably should have as they come now onto the bridge section. It's so important to avoid that jutting wall just there on the left. That can be a race ender if you hit that. We'll go back to the front now as Wags has been able to skip off to a 1.1 second lead, and KD now going for P2 ahead of Jamo. He's hard on the brakes and just slides it out, and KD managed to save it with contact to Jamo in the process. It's a GTR down the inside there. That was Orphan Drop, who is actually managed to be passed by Prezzo unless Prezzo's held it around the outside. And they're 3 wide here on the exit of the corner, and Blocky's getting himself involved there. These guys are bumping down the back straight. Look at them all. Oh, this is messy stuff here from the twins and Blocky Rex, the Kiwi. As they pile here into this corner at the end of the straight. We'll go on here. We'll see what it looks like from the view there. There's a GTR parked in the door. That was Kane getting very aggressive on Prezzo there. I can only imagine it doesn't look any better from behind as Curving's finding himself a little out wide. He's side by side actually with Ridwan, and Ridwan making some great moves early in this race. And we know full well as well from that team chat we saw earlier on, Curving and Ridwan probably not the best of friends right now. Lane going side by side with Tim and picking up a spot while he's doing it, but Tim holding around the outside. That's a bit too much power there for Tim, just avoiding the wall. And the Porsche not quite having the straight line grunt of the Jag, and Tim squeezing him to the wall. He doesn't want to have anything of it. BK in that huge GTR is following up, and Lane trying to send one and not able to get it done. So a great defensive effort there from Tim, and that would be Bodhod out in the weeds playing catch up, and the whole field will be needing to play catch up as JM Wags, the man who has picked up a main time seat for the first time this season, is out to a 3-second lead over Dynamite. And Dynamite has some quick company as well in Blocky Rex and now KD in P4. So KD choosing to let the main time driver through. Car 48 there, stepping aside for car 88 and watching them do their thing. Oh, that was someone out wide there. That was Orphan Drop, who managed to avoid the wall. Orphan Drop, who seems to be the first of the medium runners, gives his brother a little bit of a squeeze there. Prezzo also on. Yeah, these guys are playing for keeps right now. They are not friends as they're both ghosting into the braking zone. And Orphan Drop going in very deep there. And that's the wall for Prezzo. And it's getting very aggro here between the twins. They're 3 wide coming into the bowl section. Prezzo with 2 cars around his outside. He's got to be very careful. And you've got to think there could be a bit of a steward's inquest there into Jack's incident there. Orphan Drop. Yeah, there was a closing window on the outside of that corner, and it seems like Prezzo found himself right in the thick of it. And Prezzo with damage now to the front and front right of his car will be a sitting duck as these guys come piling into the right-hand hairpin. BK not being able to make up any positions really, only the one on Lane, who seems to have dropped back only recently. Lane, who we saw being bullied by Ridwan, Tim, and a couple of other cars. And these guys not finding any overtaking opportunities really, as Tim not able to filter in any better spot as where he was. These guys are basically lining up to a stern coming into the final corner, and it's not really going to be helping their pace as that was someone diving into the pit lane. We'll see in a second. That was Stone Towel choosing to take the paint now, and that is terrible luck for Stone Towel, who came to blows with his brother of all people. So I think there will be a awkward conversation in the President house once this one ends. And it's Wagsy here, and this is one race, I'll be honest, where Wags did not come to me for help. often he will shoot me a message to say, you know, Viper, what's the go around this track? How do we extract speed out of the car? What's the best way to drive it, brake balance wise? Like, are my lines okay? And he'll just double check and he'll make sure that everything he's doing is right for the way he's approaching the weekend. And he hasn't had to do it this weekend, and I was a little bit worried, especially after the first race, that may be his downfall. I just thought, you know what, sometimes all a driver needs is a little bit of direction. They just need to see that what they're doing is right, and they need to be told to keep on going. And Wags did not need any of that. I think he has known from day dot that he has the pace to run and so far control this race. And I think he's going to benefit greatly from the fact that Dynamite and Blocky will probably battle here, not benefit. I'm a walking thesaurus. As we'll watch here, Blocky tucked into the toe. And we'll see how friendly are these two to each other. Blocky may even save a little bit of fuel. He's revving the balls out of that RCF still. And he throws it out from under the slipstream. So Blocky Rex trying to go down the inside here off Dynamite, both on the soft tyre. The top four all on the soft tyre, maybe a few more, and Blocky down the inside gets that move done. As Dynamite looking for the over-under, he might actually have a bit of a case to answer for you here. And Blocky puts it to rest as he pulls in with P2. Dynamite will just stay glued to the rear bumper of that Revo Lexus. And these guys might battle for a little while longer. All the while though, Wags is stretching his legs and getting comfortable at the top and not using nearly the amount of front tyre that Blocky is either, and that would be the new wheel Wags is using and helping him in there. And I wonder maybe if Dynamite knows that if Blocky is quicker, it would be much better just to help him and work on getting Wags, because Wags is showing a lot more pace than I think anyone expected. And KD as well, doing very well so far, just picking up a 6/10 penalty at turn 1. You would got to expect slash assume slash the walking thesaurus. But doing very well so far on the soft tyre to hold these guys back. Ridwan, who has started on the mediums, has now made his way up to P5, and I think that was just an overtake on Orphan Drop. No, it was a little bit before that. We look behind. There is Orphan Drop, who would have been all over the back of Ridwan, and is still all over the back of Ridwan. Anarchy Pie, who is a further 3 seconds behind, also on the medium tyre. I think that was Orphan Drop on the mediums. Oh, yep, so Ridwan and Orphan Drop, the first two medium tyre runners. Orphan Drop choosing to work with Ridwan and also choosing to touch the wall on the entry to that corner and the exit of it as well. No corner is perfect unless you do the same thing on entry and exit, as Orphan Drop shows the nose there, and that is the contrasting two different lines between the Supra and the GTR. Of course, very different ways to extract time out of these two. Whatever they're doing, it's working, because Orphan Drop is currently 6.5 tenths up on his PB. A nice little toe coming from Ridwan. And these guys found themselves in a nice little battle pack. BCP, who is probably a little bit slower than Tim, doesn't want to get in his way, but he's got curving Texas now down his inside as well. Oh, and there's Tim gone! That was Tim gone! That's Tim out in the gravel, and I just for some reason can't find him. And how that has happened, I have no idea, but I have a feeling that has something to do with curving Texas. As we'll have a look here on board, it's curving following Tim. And we'll look to BK as well. Oh, and Tim's outbroken himself there, so zero contact between the cars. And Tim, who has just been unable to keep it on the road. And that is awful stuff there for Tim. And they're all choosing to come in here on lap 4. This is the minimum tyre lap for these guys, so all of the medium runners coming in now. And the top 5 is... oh, there we go, Lame. Choosing to do things differently, so he doesn't want to be involved in the melee, but he's not quite got the grip he wants there. Steps it very wide at turn 1, but Lane being very clever about this and not pitting with the rest of them to get on the soft tyre. So Ridwan will lead that charge on the soft tyre with Orphan Drop behind. So things are resuming as normal for these two. Hot in behind. And BCP side by side with Kane. Kane will have that advantage going up into turn 3 as they sweep around turn 2. BCP might be a bit later in the brakes and chooses to be smart about it and stay behind the boy for GTR. There's contact there on the exit of the corner. And these two are actually going to go side by side, so it is a little bit less than over between these guys. BCP going for the move. We've seen Tim make a couple of times as contact at the turning point there. That was well past the turning point, but I know my corners. And BCP actually getting the move done, and these guys are running. It's so close to that wall out there. And Prezzo, who copped damage early on, will have to make another pit stop. We remind everyone, he's on the medium tyre, so getting rid of the medium now and go to the soft later on, but that'll be a huge chunk of points lost for FP Autosport. And here we go, Blocky Rex now has gone to the lead, so Blocky's taken the lead from Wags. Just see if we can catch that one as we're looking behind us for some reason. There we go, so Blocky, Wags going defensive. And he's actually let him have that one to a degree. And down the inside he went as Dynamite sniffing to get it done as well. Where's Dynamite? Dynamite's still behind the FB Autosport Supra. And I've got to assume these guys will go on for a little while longer, probably till lap 7, 8 or 9 even on the soft tyre. But they've got to be careful to work together because everyone behind them will be hounding them. And Lane, the first of so on the medium tyre, who is running a lot longer than we might have first thought. So Lane still setting some really nice lap times, a 9.5 there for Lane. And he's holding nice pace. That might just pick himself up a track penalty for turn 1. I'm not sure he'll mind though. 9-second lead over Ridwan, who has now dropped off a drop, just slightly off a drop, just hanging within tow. And that GTR never really loses tow, does it? So you can sniff it from a mile away. Stupidly fast Japanese thing. Let's go back here as BK's firing down the inside of Bodot. And what happened there? So that was Bodot with a really, really sharp under. Yeah, I did not expect to see Bodot turning in that sharply there to get underneath BK. And there was a change for position back there as well as curving past its candy cane. BCP following these two as well down into the S's. And that car showing a lot of attitude with Curving Texas at the wheel. The rears not quite agreeing with what Curving's telling them to do. And what the front tyres are leading them to do is Dynamite now has taken P2 off Wagsy, and Wags has fallen a fair bit off. Just looks like his front tyres starting to disagree. A great fuel save so far from Wags actually. He's still got 50% in the tank. That is what he needs right now to make the entire race distance on fuel. Blocky maybe a little bit short. Dynamite definitely short. There will be a fuel stop for sure in Dynamite's future. Wagsy on target, so a great fuel effort so far from Wags, and clearly short shifting that Supra. Funnily enough, the Supra actually a car that prefers to be short shifted. So the power band a little bit lower on the Toyota Supra GR racing concept. Finds its pace a little bit differently to anything else on the grid. As KD here also relatively on target. I would almost call that on target for KD, saving a lot of fuel in that Lexus. The last so far of the soft runners who haven't pitted, and 10 seconds up the road from Lane. And it was a 12-second lap last time, so that was actually a mistake that lap from KD, as Lane now chooses to pit with 50% fuel. So again, Lane hitting the targets he needs to, and we'll watch here as Ridwan goes past the pit lane. 7.2 from Ridwan. And that is a very, very quick lap time. And we'll watch here to see where Lane's going to end up coming out. See if we can just see him. Lane now coming out of the pits, and it's Tim coming around. And it's going to be between the BCPRD boys of Banana Cake Pie and Tim Ant that Lane Everingham will appear. And BK from Tim Ant. How did I mess that one up? Tim may pick up a bit of tow here if he's lucky on the Jaguar of Lane Everingham here. And Prezzo actually there choosing to put the soft tyre on as well, dropping back into P15. And Prezzo who will run a very lonely race now, all the way back in turn 1 on his own after copping damage at the hand of his twin brother. So a bit of inter-family rivalry there, but I'm sure will go down well. As Tim here on soft tyres, warm soft tyres as well, importantly. Has pulled up to the back of Lane, and that is a juicy slipstream he will find himself in. And I expect that Lane will be a very, very hard competitor to get by. But following him might not be a bad idea, as there's a touch of the wall up there for BCP, who I assume that's Kane. He's battling now in the GTR And it is Candy Cane who has a 3/10 penalty currently to his name. Candy Cane to his name. And runs it very wide, touching the wall and giving BCPRD the best opportunity he has to try and get down the inside. That Porsche, as we know very well, not the quickest car in a straight line, had a fantastic run there. Has the inside line as well. I get the feeling this just isn't one straight GTR is going to be able to hang on to as BCP takes that position and with it takes P10. As we go up now to the lead, Blocky continuing on to lap 8. Dynamite following him with Wags hot on his toes, 3 seconds behind. And KD, who seems to be pulling into Wags as well, shaking off a bit of a dodgy lap earlier on that I can't actually see now. So that lap may be being a bit of a graphical glitch for the timing leaderboard. And Ridwan now, who has set a 7.7 after a 7.2. And I'm going to say very early on right now, we are seeing classic Ridwan at the wheel right now. We'll go on board with him. There is no better time to go on board with Ridwan than when he is at his peak. And that is so very often when it comes to Project 1 eSports. We see him using a lot of the track there at turn 3 and short shifting the life out of the thing, as we saw Wagsy doing as well. So showing Wags has done his research and knows what he's doing in that FP Autosport Supra, as he should, it's his car. And Ridwan actually going down to second there, so using second for turn in, then straight back up to third to minimise loss of traction on the exit for a peak traction zone where you need to be getting the power down smoothly. And I think there's actually just been an instant up ahead. There's no damage to KD there, so that may have been a false alarm. As Ridwan here with the tail a little bit misaligned from the rest of the car, you can say. And throwing it in here, a fair amount of trail brake. And just being really cautious on the throttle, waiting until you can squeeze it and getting onto this back straight as quickly as you can. Ridwan, who is 0.165 down on his PB now, and looking at a 7.2. I don't think that is anything to be ashamed of. As he comes in here now, braking at the 150 meter board and using that curb on the inside, using second again for the turn in and a little bit of the traction zone before utilising third gear. A little bit of grass picked up on the exit. That actually won't be helping his grip whatsoever. Maybe half a tenth lost through that section as a result, and he's cutting all these curbs very carefully, and a great line there through the final bit of S's there from Widwell. And that is a very tidy lap so far, braking after the 100 meter board, more inside curve there, and that is a good lap of some Pro B. I would hate to see what a perfect lap is actually if that was a good lap. A 7.1 there, so a lot of time found in that final sector, and Orphan Drop is dropping away from him. Yeah, we see, so Orphan Drop actually does 7.5 that time out, so a great lap there from the Kennedy Motorsport driver. That is half a second quicker than his team boss BK, and he still fell 4 tenths further away from Ridwan, so that just must be so demoralising seeing Ridwan come through this pack, setting lap after lap of PB times, and it just not working out for you. So yeah, BK now actually purple on the time Ridwan set. We saw Ridwan as well was purple when he set that time, so it wasn't a slow first sector by any means. So we'll just go back one more time as Jamo's fallen off a little bit from this pack of Tim, BCP and Lane. And there's probably more that meets the eye to that pack. They are very close, these guys. All of them in basically a slipstream train, led by Kane, the biggest and boifiest of the Group 3 cars at GC Sport. And Kane with a fair bit of pressure as he puts it in the wall there. Kane very lucky to avoid damage there. That would be oh so easy to pick up a little bit of damage, like what Ridwan did early in the race of the feature as he picks up the wall once again, losing time in lane. We will go up here to Blocky Rex. This will be the lap that Blocky pits, as he's clearly running out of tyre grip there. But Blocky not dropping out of the 80 yet, so great pace there from Blocky. Dynamite's found a fair bit of pace compared to the first race, sitting in the low 9s with 0 fuel left basically, so this will be a huge loss for Dynamite on fuel. And Wagsy with a great fuel stint so far, may even jump Dynamite in the pits. KD as well, who needs to come in this lap. 12, 13. Yep, and that will be KD, who is now actually going to pull himself a disqualification for not pitting at the desired time. So KD continuing on past when he needs to will now be showed null and void from the results, and that's a massive shame. Yeah, that's a huge shame for Revo. And KD will surely realise the fatal error in his mistake. We'll go back to where these guys have rejoined, because it is Ridwan who has taken P2, which is the provisional lead now. That KD will be down and out of this one. Blocky on Fresh Mediums P3, who has got Orphan Drop, absolutely sending the GTR. That'll be provisional P3 with BK provisionally P4. So these guys have made that strategy work wonders for them. Dynamite, who will be P5, and Wags in P6. So this has turned very, very nice for Wags, who has Curving and Bodhod hunting him down. These guys are provisionally P7 and 8, and setting very quick times indeed right now. Yeah, we'll see if they might be working together. So it was a 7-9, yep, so Curving was able to pass Bodhod last time out, and Bodhod now setting his fastest sector times in behind the rear wing of that RCF GT3. We've seen as well, these two work incredibly well together. I think if you name me a partnership that works nearly as well as what would say Blocky and myself, Tim and myself, or BK and Orphan Drop, struggling to name amazing partnerships, Ridwan and Stone Tail, it would probably be Curving and Modhod, who just seem to work well together. They've had some great racing in the past and can make a lot of time using that slipstream. KD, I'm sure I haven't miscalculated this here. That should have been KD's lap to pit. It would have been end of lap 9, so he would have had lap 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 11, 12, 13. Yep, so end of lap 10 he's now pitting. And that's only 3 laps on the medium tyre, so that will be a disqualification. 13. I'm really overthinking this, but I'm just trying to make sure. I am sure now that will be KD down and out of this one. Massively disappointing for him after what was looking so promising. And Blocky now inherits P2. These guys are now where it looks like they may end up, and the times quite similar. You got to remember Blocky coming out of the pits that time and keeping it pretty steady back to Orphan Drop in the GTR. Who is currently just being watched by BK, I think is the right way to put it. BK, who isn't showing amazing pace at the moment. He's not pulling right up to the back of his teammate, but is driving that GTR very comfortably right now in P4, and has, I think, comfortably shown the best round we have ever seen in racing. A P1 and right now a P4 for the Kennedy Motorsport driver. We have seen before, we knew the GTR was going to be incredibly quick at Croix. I'm not sure anyone expected that BKXI would park it on the top step of the podium in the feature race, and it's going to be another podium at the moment. Provisionally for Orphan Drop, there's a fair few guys still coming through. Dynamite on the fresher medium tyre now has managed to find himself a nice bit of gap on the track. Back straight specifically, with Curving and Bodhod doing their little working together effort, and Kane seems to be joining the party as well. Fun fact as well, Kane and Curving Texas are roommates. Housemates. Mates. House. As Bodhod here goes for the overtake, Curving not fighting that one too much. And Bodhod's running it wide actually, so this one's going to heat up a little bit. Curving with a great opportunity just to fight it. He pulls in behind Bodhod, choosing not to put the car where he doesn't think it's going to gain him anything. And look at the loads coming through the corner as that's Bodhod there running it wide. Oh, Kane in the background. And Kane's going to catch the wall there. And I've hit the keyboard at the worst time I have ever seen. I cannot believe that, as Kane has copped damage. I will definitely go back and watch that. Oh, there's contact there. I completely missed that contact. I will have to go back for that, but Kane caught the grass and was entirely unable to save this one. Oh, it caught. That was Wags actually on the way through. So that was Wags who he caught, and then got hit from behind as well. And we'll lose the replay function here actually. Oh, that was chaos at the back, so I'll have to go back That might have been BCP, and we're seeing another car that spun. And, oh, that's Orphan Drop! From the podium, Orphan Drop has copped engine damage, and we're going to have to forget what happened at the final corner there, because one of the Kennedy Motorsports car has binned it from P3. That is heartbreak there for Orphan Drop, who was on for one of his PB results. And who saw that one coming? Orphan Drop, we'll see if we can catch what he's done. Oh, also similar to Kane. And he's just been caught out by the lack of grip on the grass. That is heartbreaking for Orphan Drop, as we just see him trying to select a gear there. And there's nothing you can do about that one. That was much too aggressive on the throttle, if you ask me. But unlucky to the highest degree from Orphan Drop. What that does mean, though, is that BKXI, who was P1 in the last race, has inherited P3. And so far, this is a double podium round for the league owner. And what will surely go down as a very, very memorable night for BK as we're heading now towards the final lap. We'll check in. There were a lot of cars caught up in that instant at the final corner. I wish we called them all. There was definitely a BCPRD car caught up in that one, as we see one of them trying to go around the outside of the lane. But there was a lot of shake-up when that happened. It was hard to see where everyone ended up. I'm sure BCP was involved, and that was actually BCP, who I would assume would have plowed into the back of Kane. That's front damage for BCP. And probably another dodgy lap coming this time by for him. As we watch now, Jamo, Kane's been able to pit and is a little bit low on fuel, but he will continue on just nicely as he passes a struggling Orphan Drop. Orphan Drop, who will almost certainly drop a spot now to the Stone Drop, and Wags as well, who was unfortunately caught up in that incident. And Wags, who had such a good night, and that may be Orphan Drop, hasn't pulled it over, he's just chosen to get out of the way, so great stuff there from Orphan Drop. But we'll go back here to the lead, as Ridwan has come back into his own this race, and is not making the mistakes. Like we saw in the feature race, Ridwan, a 5.6 second lead over Blocky Rex, and I think that is something that will give Ridwan a bit of a smile come the end of this race. That is only just over a minute away. Blocky Rex, who is bringing home a nice competitive P2 finish so far for Revo, and it's something that we have needed in the championship fight, especially when max speed have been so competitive. As Blocky running a little bit deep there, losing a bit of time to BK. That was awkward there. BK don't really want to give BK a sniff on the final lap. Blocky, gotta be careful here. Now, he is a man running on a lot of high confidence right now, is BK, and I think he has comfortably, without a shadow of doubt, been the driver of the round so far, as BKXI, otherwise known as Bailey Kennedy. I realise I have hardly drunk that whole race. There was just a fair amount going on as we're heading here into the final complex. Watch, don't think there's any other close battles as I'm eating my words here. Tim trying to go down the inside of Lane on the final lap. Lane's making it hard for him, giving him the squeeze, and Tim's not going to be able to get it done there, but Lane's going to run it wide. Tim, with a little bit of overlap, maybe could pull something into the S's, and it might have to wait till the final corner, but it'll be Ridwan who comes around the final corner to see that checkered flag, and he is ecstatic about that one. He takes the sprint round win. Blocky Rex leads home a second and third place finish for the Revo and Kennedy Motorsport team owners. A amazing round from BK to secure back-to-back podium finishes. Dynamite in P4 for the top max speed car. Curving Texas, who has been very, very strong championship-wise, for P5. Bodhod for P6. Lane holds on over Tim for P8, and KD spinning across the line. And of course that will probably be a DQ based on the medium tyre requirement for KD. He won't be happy with himself. Banana Cake Pie, the BCPRD team owner in P10. Jamo, his teammate in P11. Kane comes across for P12. It'll be Stone Tower, who was of course caught up in that incident with himself and his twin Orphan Drop, P13, and he's actually hardly made the line there before putting it at the wall. And I'm not entirely convinced or happy about all these guys choosing to put it in the wall on the line. JM Wags, my apologies, mate, with a stunning round for him. It's so unfortunate things went that way. He was so competitive in the sprint round, so competitive, and a P14 definitely doesn't do him justice. But Orphan Drop is probably the definition of something that doesn't do him justice, who spun it with only a handful of laps remaining, all down to his own mistake, but will pick up a P15, does Orphan Drop, and that is just so unlucky for him. And it will be a DSQ, Charles, as there is a 4-lap tyre minimum requirement on the medium that KD did not meet. So he will be relegated from the results, and everyone will be bumped up one position. It was Ridwan, though, that took the race win and looked so comfortable in that one compared to last race. And we'll just have a look at the results one more time. Jamo jumping out of the room straight away. Not sure if that is indicative of his feelings toward that race. But it's Ridwan with a very nice racing suit there, if I do say so myself. With Blocky Rex in P2 and BK rounding out the podium. BK, the man who had a double podium. But it is probably Curving Texas now who will inherit the championship lead after a very strong round for him, and coming off in P5 and what could have been a P1 finish. Oh, Charles, that makes a lot more sense there, mate. As we've now had the lobby close up on us. Cheers for tuning in then, Tube. That's awesome, mate. Glad to see you're keen to watch all the racing. KD there apologising for forgetting about the tyre requirement rule, and that is just a rookie. I say rookie, it's just a mistake from KD, and I'm sure we won't hold it against him. Nothing really he can do about that one. But I feel like this is where we call that one. That was a fantastic night of racing at St. Croix. Congratulations once again to BK and Ridwan, who were our race winners. And if we awarded a round winner trophy, it would go straight to BKXI, who was stunning for both the races, our league owner. So congratulations, especially to him. And we shall see you all next week for Green Hell, the Nürburgring. And I cannot wait. See you then. Thank you very much.